Okay, so today I am on my Linux computer again, and this is going to be another one of my programming streams. Here's the key. The key is that I have been playing a lot of online chess, and so I'm actually going to be doing something. You can see I'm going to my Twitch profile just so that I can, share on my social media that I am doing a live stream right now. Let's see, doing a programming stream tonight. Okay. Yeah, just gonna make it public. I would really like people to see my computer programming skills because I do some things here because and of course, when I'm on Linux, the one thing you really need to know of is that when I am on Linux, it doesn't let me change my tags directly through OBS, and I forgot to change my tags. So my title is still chess puzzles, but this is a different kind of puzzle I'm dealing with. I'm going to be dealing with some computer programming. So let's see here. So yeah, OBS is going. It's recording my microphone. Okay, that's good. So here's my Linux desktop on Ubuntu Linux, and I'm just going to show you. So check this out. This is like my system, and I have a lot of RAM in this computer. Thank you, Jamie. So I'm running Debian New Linux version 12, which is codenamed Bookworm. So this is a Linux, and you don't have to do the streaming. You have to have, of course, you have to have a good computer, this is a decent computer. But I use this computer for all my programming because it's so easy to navigate Linux. So what I'm actually going to be doing is I've been playing so much online chess that I actually want to do a chess computer programming project. That's kind of what I'm trying to aim for. So I actually have saved. I have some. Let's see, chess. Okay, image. So let's go to this screenshot. Okay, so here is a screenshot that I had taken. It was just a screenshot. This is the reason I'm using this screenshot is because I like the look of this board and I want to analyze something here. Because rendering a checkerboard is actually not going to be that hard of a thing. A checkerboard is an amazing thing, obviously, to render, because that's going to be the start of the program. And I don't know how far I'm going to get tonight, but you making a game doesn't happen like in 30 minutes unless you're like a really genius programmer who really knows what you're doing. It takes a lot longer to make a game. So here's what I'm going to study. Now I took this screenshot directly from chess.com. Um, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to analyze this. I want to analyze the pixels of this image in GIMP. GIMP is basically Photoshop for Linux. Basically, it's because it's free and open source, and you can do almost anything with it. So let's see here. So first of all, what I'm going to do here, because I like the look of everything. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm going to zoom in here. You see, like when you get to the fine detail level of the pixels, you can see like all the anti-aliasing. Like this is some really beautiful stuff going on here. And so let's analyze this. For example, let's select this square where this is the square where this knight is. We're going to select this. Okay, so the size is 101 by 101. Very interesting, isn't that? Isn't that kind of interesting? 101 by 101. So, we know that's the size of the individual square on the checkerboard there. It's kind of strange. So So okay, so here's kind of a basic idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom super close. Okay, let's see here. Because and sometimes when I press keys, I accidentally deselect the tool that I want to have on. This is actually very, okay, so here we're going to try to select the entire chessboard. That's what we're going to try to do. We're gonna, I'm gonna be scrolling down. I want to get, because a chessboard is supposed to be a perfect square. You know what I mean? Okay, so yeah, this is actually a very big. Okay, so I can tell that we're getting close to the bottom here. Okay, so here, okay, 808. Okay, so you see that? Notice how the size is 808 by 808. Now that's very interesting, in fact, if you think about it, because so 101 pixels for every square. There's 8 by 8. So yeah, so it makes sense. 8 times 101 is 808. So here's the thing, though. I have in mind a very specific thing that I'm going to be doing. What I'm going to be doing. Okay, I have an idea. So I copied that and then I'm going to paste as a new image. Okay, so now see, we have a new image that is only, this is only the checkerboard. See how it's only the checkerboard now? So this is basically, I'm going to do some stuff here. So I'm going to go to image. Okay, so, okay, I'm just going to make another folder, GIMP edits. Okay. Right now I'm studying the checkerboard. I'm in the process. I'm not writing the code yet. So, okay. Okay. Chess image 808. That's what I'm going to name that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink the image, or we're going to scale the image. We're going to make it 720 by 720. And okay, let's just try scaling this. Okay, so it still looks like a really good chessboard. It really does. It is a nice chessboard, in fact. So now that I've done that, we're going to save this as a different file. So this is chess image 720. So see, scaling a bitmap image is it's a fun thing to do. It's a really nice thing to do. So here's where it's going to get interesting. So now we have an image, so 720 by 720. Now you might wonder, why the number 720? Why that number? Well, okay, so the standard YouTube resolution is 1280 by 720. So 720 is the height of a standard portrait mode standard definition video. 720 is a special number, though, not only for that reason, because it's a number. 720 is two times 360, which is one of the most divisible numbers ever. And so I like the look of this image here. So this is a nice image here. It's an XCF file, because XCF is actually the file format that that basically is what GIMP understands. Let's see here. Save. Okay. On edge cases, better compression algorithms might still end up bigger file size. Okay, but see, that's just the GIMP image. To actually have a usable image, here's what we want to do. What we want to actually do is we want to export it as a PNG. We're going to export, and we're going to make it a PNG. Now, notice it has PNG selected as the default data type. We're going to export this image. So I'm going to be using, let's see here. Okay. Okay. We're not going to save any of the extra stuff here. We're just going to automatic pixel format, compression level 9, so best compression, because I'm going to be saving this image once. Okay, so here's what we need to do. So the basic idea here is I need to create a program, and I'm going to load this image. Okay, so now I have existing programs because I've made games before. I've made games before. And so, and just as a brief example, because if you're new to my streams and you don't realize, for example, I made this Tetris game. So I made this amazing Tetris game. There's the title screen, and then here it's a Tetris game with no gravity that you can play, but it also has the hold feature, and you can swap back and forth infinite times. It's so cool. So I made my own Tetris game using SDL and the C programming language. So here's kind of what I'm thinking. What I need is I need to I need to create a program that opens a window. We're going to make the whole program fit into a perfect square size window. It's going to be 720 by 720. So now there's a lot of complications of my Tetris game though. And I've made some other programs too. I'll just show you one more really cool program I wrote. So over here I have a really cool program I wrote. This one has a message on the title screen, and then it does an animation of the scrolling powers of 2. So this, I put a lot of effort because I'm obsessed with the powers of 2. Now there's a few things I want to fix, like notice that the font isn't exactly monospace. I don't really know how to control the SDL TTF library very well yet. So that's a complicated thing there. But I'm gonna try go for something simpler. I'm planning to not really use extension libraries exactly. In fact, that reminds me. Well, I may still use SDL image. I mean, there's no real reason not to necessarily. I'll still use SDL image and maybe Mixer if I add music to the game, but I'm probably going to do a different thing with the fonts. But see, making a game is a big project, and I'm getting way ahead of myself. So here's the thing. So when I made a special version. I'm not going to play this right now because it'll load music, and I don't want to get into the whole copyright of the music and everything. That's a whole nother thing. But so when I made Chaste Chess 1989, which is a special version of my Tetris game, I have this folder called Parts. So I want to show you something. So here is a very small program. So notice it's just a green window says SDL program. It's very basic. So so let's look at that one more time. Just a green window basically with the title of SDL program. So let's look at the source code of that program. And look at this. See this? This is a very basic program. This goes through it almost fits on the entire page. I have a very large font because I want people to see. I want people to be able to see, the way it is. So I chose a large font. So what it does in this program, you see, it includes, the standard input output, the SDL library, and it tries to initialize the video, and it prints an error if it couldn't, and returns and exits the program, and then it tries to create a window, and if there was no window created, there's a lot of error checking. This is the C programming language. You do all the error checking, all the memory allocation yourself. The C programming language allows me the most control out of every programming language that I've ever used. I love the C programming language, and I still am not good with C++ yet. And so notice the make file for that is a very simple make file. That's a very basic make file there. So it just has a command to compile and run the program. So that is a nice. Now here you see, here's something else to see. I have here a different program. And actually, okay, so I need to, okay, that terminal is that one. Okay, I need to exit out of the previous terminal of SDL core because that just has the core library. Now this is the SDL image. It's a separate program, so I'm going to compile and run this. So you see this program is still just as SDL program as its title, but notice it loads the image, which so happens to be the same image. Well, it's almost the same as my title, my desktop background. It's a slight variation of it. But you see this, it loads an image. So this one is actually a good base. So let's look at this. So this one, it does all of the same things, except this one actually, it draws a checkerboard. It's kind of funny because it actually draws a checkerboard using this very specific algorithm. I didn't actually write this. This was actually part of an example that I used, in fact. But it's a very basic method of drawing a checkerboard. So it's kind of, and I don't use for loops in my own written code. I have my own checkerboard drawing routine. But you see, it does the same things. But then what it does is after it sets a draw color and it fills the rect. It draws. First it draws a background pattern in case the image has transparency, and then it opens the image file. So it copies into the file name array, because a character array is what the file name is. It's a 256 byte character array or a byte array. So it uses the string copy function to copy the name of the file into that string, and then we set a texture to image load texture that file name. So it's actually pretty cool. So here's what we're gonna do. I have an idea here. So I have a very basic idea of a route that I want to go. Because first I just need to get a program, a basic programming example, something that works. Oh, and also I do want to show. So in the code of Chaste Chess 1989, I've recorded about that in separate videos. There's a lot of code here. There's several different C header files, and there's main.c. And this is a big program because this program actually loads images, it loads true type fonts, it even loads music with SDL Mixer. So this is a very, very large program. And in fact, it's great. It's a great program, but I want something much simpler because when I first start making a game, I don't want to make something like this. This is advanced after I have already made the game and then I just keep adding features. No, I want to do something very basic. But here's the important thing to understand. So, SDL Core. Now, SDL Core is actually really, really cool because this program, and in fact, I want to show you something. So, yeah, this source code here is really good. But you can download the source code for this. Let me show you how you can download the source code. So let me go to my web browser, because if I go to my web browser here, and there's my home page, my own little website, chastitywhiterose.github.io, but I'm going to go to the main GitHub thing, because I have a GitHub account, and I have so many different things. So there was, okay, so SDL blank. So here is, okay, so here's an example. So I have more than one example. There's 3 branches in my SDL blank repository here. Because if you look up SDL blank on GitHub, you'll find it. So there's more than one way. Okay, first of all, here is a basic example. This is the source code of this doesn't use SDL. This is simply basically a hello world. It includes standard input, does a printf message, returns 0, the smallest program possible. But if you go back, you'll see there's more. There's SDL surface, and here's the main.c of SDL surface. This one, it creates the window just like the other one, but it draws to the surface. And then it updates the window surface and displays. It doesn't use a renderer. Whereas the other program used the renderer, and this program right here is yeah, this is the same program basically. And what it does the same thing as I explained before. It does all the error checking. So this is basically the exact same program as what I showed you. I'm pretty sure I didn't make any changes whatsoever. Let's see here. So if I go back to this, I'm pretty sure this is the exact same program, but it operates pretty much the same because I downloaded it and I haven't changed the file. In fact, I have not modified that file since June 9th, 2023. That was the last time I modified the file. And I'm not going to modify it because it does what it's supposed to do. It is, for all purposes, a perfect program. So what I need to do, and also I will show you something else. So well, see, what happened is those parts, I had the SDL core, then I add the SDL image, and I was going to have separate parts for loading the music and loading the true type fonts, but instead I just built the whole program without developing the parts separately. But that's absolutely fine. I'm gonna try to keep this as simple as I can anyway. So what I'm gonna do is let me go. Actually, I think because I'm thinking in my head, there's two totally different ways to go about this. One is to start with the SDL core and then extend it with the image stuff, and the other is to just go with the image example and modify from there. But I think what I'm going to do, okay, I think I have an idea. I think I'm going to go basic. I'm going to go so basic, very, very basic. I may not even load the image. I may just build a very basic prototype first. So this is going to be simple. Okay, so first I'm going to go here. We're going to go to SDL core. And this has, okay, let's see. Let me look at the README here. Okay, this folder contains a program that only creates a window and draws a color to it. It will close if you click the X or press escape. It may seem pointless, but this is the start of a basic program. This one uses the SDL renderer for drawing rather than the old surface method. If you're curious about the way that works using surfaces and no renderer, the full source code of such a program is below. So that I include the source code of the other program. This program and more are available on my SDL blank repository, and there is the link right there. That's totally the link. In fact, what I'm going to do is, now when I'm using OBS Studio on Linux, it doesn't have like the whole chat stuff here. I have that configured on Windows, but that's because OBS works a little bit differently on Windows than it does on Linux. It's similar, but if I want, I'm going to put that link in the chat. That's what I'm going to do. I need to check the Twitch chat anyway. So let's go back to twitch.tv, and we're going to go back to my profile here, and then of course it shows all those other things.
Let me in then. Caleb, you're so hilarious because they...
Hey, I did not ask for that stupid stream to start. See, whenever you go to Twitch, it tries to load whatever live stream is playing, and I didn't want it to play that. And also, let me just say once again, you see this? Do you see these other live streamers that they're all famous, and you know, some of them have good content, but a lot of it is just like this one. Like what is this person even doing? Bikini speed dating gone wrong. Like, come on, man. People show off their body because they have no skills. Okay, I have computer programming skills. Does anybody care? No, but I care. So that's why I'm doing this video. And I hope that there's other autistic people who care. Anyway, so in fact, I'm going to try to favorite. So in fact, I'm going to, yeah, you see how this is? Because it starts playing my own stream. I wish I could turn off autoplay. Is there a way to turn off autoplay on Twitch? Is there a way to do that? I don't know. But what I'm going to do is let me go back. I'm going to copy the link to my SDL blank repository, and then I'm going to put it in the stream chat. That's what I'm going to do right there. So then anybody who does check this on Twitch will be able to see that. But also, I wonder, well, I'll mess with the settings later on. Wait, that's my browser settings, not even Twitch settings. I'll mess with Twitch settings later to see if I can turn off the autoplay. Um, but anyway, so I need to get a very basic program running. Very, very basic. So I'm going to exit my web browser entirely because I know what program that I'm going to try to create. But okay, so let's see here. Okay, I've closed out. That's just my OBS terminal. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, we're going to copy SDL core. We're going to go, so I want to show you, notice how I have all of these different things. I have used SFML, I've used XLib, other SDL projects, Raylib, ncurses, and that actually was a good project. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I made an ncurses Chaste Chess. Let me see if this still runs. Oh yeah, it runs all right. It just goes too fast to see. But yeah, like this is actually a Tetris game that runs in a terminal. It doesn't look as cool though as like my more modern things. It does not look right. It doesn't look right at all, I swear. But hey, it works. It's actually a very cool thing that I made a terminal Tetris. So yeah. Anyway, but the reason this folder here is named 0SDL is because that made when it's sorted by name with ascending, then 0SDL goes to the top, and I wanted it to always go there. I wanted it to always be at the top because all of my games that I've made, that I've published anyway, both versions of Chaste Chess and Chaste Puyo and Chaste Panel and even Chaste Pong. Okay, Chaste Pong is not even a game. Chaste Pong. Okay, you got to see this. You got to see it. Chaste Pong. Yeah, I have a spinning yin yang. I made Chaste Pong, but it's a game that plays itself. There's no user input on this, but hey, I made this little demo. That would be a really, really cool thing to have as a like a little intro when I first start streaming. That would be cool. That's funny. Anyway, yeah, I just love to show all my programming examples. So anyway, I'm going to I have so many things here. I have so many things. So many examples. So SDL core, but we're going to rename this. They all start with SDL to know that it's not with a Lego or SFML or Windows API or whatever. So we're going to do SDL Chaste instead of, yeah. Yeah, you notice how with Chaste Chess it was all combined into one word. Chaste Chess, it was all combined into one word because it ended up spelling Tetris as part of the word, so it's kind of funny. But here we're going to do SDL Chaste Chess. So I'm going to be starting to make a chess game. So we're going to, let's see, this README does not apply right now. This README does not actually apply. So we're gonna delete that, and then this make file is very basic. This works. We're gonna just be using the base SDL library. So let's see. See, I can run the executable, but what we're gonna do here is we're going to first of all, let's modify the source code here. I already have a name for the game. The game is not made yet. I'm just getting started making a game. And it's going to take a long time before it ever becomes like an actual game. It's going to take baby steps. This could take years of work. And there's no guarantee I'll even finish this project. But I will get something cool. That's what's great about programming is I always get something cool looking even if I don't achieve my original goal. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have the title be Chaste Chess. Okay. All right, so I've changed the title there. So now we're going to open a terminal in this folder. One of the great things about Linux, right click, open in terminal. Now you see we have a green screen here. But there are two problems. First of all, we don't want a green screen. We want a checkerboard. Second of all, the size needs to be a perfect square. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to first make it a perfect square. Let's change the width to be 720, just like the height. And then let's recompile. Now you'll see that it's a square, but we still have to create a checkerboard inside this. Okay, so I'm going to do it. Now to achieve the checkerboard, I'm going to import something from my Tetris game. So I have a certain so I have this right here. So okay, struct polygon. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, this is about my polygon, but where's my okay, yeah. So I know I had okay, SDL graphics. Let's see here. Do I have okay, that's strange. Cuz I know that I had a checkerboard in some I could have sworn I had a checkerboard. I had some kind of checkerboard grid thing. Let's see. I forgot where I put it. I totally forgot where I put it. Let's see here. Okay, I may have to find where my own code is. Okay, so let me search within this folder checker. Huh. There's no, okay. Let's go up a directory. Actually, let's go into the entire, okay. Okay, checker. Okay, so, oh, okay, so I had actually, wait a minute. Oh, that was part of my BBM project. Let me just take a look at, yeah, oh man, that was a very, okay, yeah, that was a very old example. Okay, so I apparently had, let me go back to the results. Okay, so we're going to do checker. So we have different, okay, so in SDL Chaste OpenGL Core checkerboard, so we had a structure for the checkerboard. Huh, okay. This file shows my own personal method of drawing a checkerboard in modern OpenGL. By building on my other header files and converting my legacy OpenGL code, I made a checkerboard function which is highly optimized. Okay. Oh, I see how it is. So this was an OpenGL example. And this won't exactly work. It's not exactly going to work. Yeah, I see how that is. But I could have sworn there was a checkerboard that I just like, but why am I not finding it? Okay, let me go because I want to find because I know somewhere in my okay, let's look my entire MSys and let's look for checker. Okay, so there was that one example. Okay, that was for GF Polygon spin checker. That was BBM Allegro demos. Okay. Oh, okay. SDL surface checker. Very interesting. I mean, that certainly worked. And you know what I might be thinking of? I think I might be thinking of the Raylib version. Okay, let me go back here. So, because if we go to the Raylib folder, let's look at the Raylib version of Chaste Chess. Because I actually, in the Raylib game, I had... Oh, yeah, there's no Raylib. I haven't installed Raylib on this PC because I quit using Raylib. But let me look at Array polygon. Okay, that was the polygon file. Chaste graph. Okay. It was draw stats. Chaste checker. Okay, yeah, that was very basic. So here's the thing: is this worked? I had a checkerboard drawing routine that I used with Raylib, but I used all kinds of bizarre variables. And you know what? So here's what I'm actually going to do. I'm going to modify the OpenGL example. I'm going to modify the OpenGL example is what I'm going to do. And because this is a chess game, I'm going to have a very efficient, like this will be the official release of my checkerboard drawing routine. Because I've used it, but I keep rewriting and reinventing the wheel. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to, okay, let me go back up a couple directories. We're going to go to, where was it? It was the OpenGL. Okay, so let's see here. Actually, let me find the exact file. Okay, so checker. Okay, so here's what we have. So, and those are the baby steps. So this one, 0SDL, OpenGL core. Okay. So here we have a structure called a checkerboard. And this file shows my own personal method of drawing a checkerboard in modern OpenGL. By building on the other header files and converting my, okay, so, but I'm not going to actually be using, I'm not actually going to be using OpenGL, but I still am going to be using some of this code. The structure is going to be good. You're gonna see exactly what I mean because I'm going to do some examples to show how this works. Okay, so now let's we're going to copy this example. So we're going to have a header file. So SDL chaste checkerboard. Okay. SDL chaste checkerboard or Chastity's checkerboard. We're going to make this very basic. So here's what we need to do. We're going to include okay. I think I know how I'm going to do this. We're going to include, right after we include SDL, we're going to, actually, I think I know what I need to do. We're going to include all of those things, and before the main function, we're going to include, and see, I'm going to do something. So look at this. So I'm going to copy the entire name of that file, and we're going to put it within these brackets. Let's see what happens. Ooh, no such file or directory. Well, I know why that is. That's because we have to put it in quotes to search the current directory rather than the system directory. Okay. So now we're getting errors because we've included a file, but it has these error messages here. So, I'm going to have to make some modifications to this. And the truth is we actually already have all of the information we need, but I have to make some modifications. And I need to make some modifications to the file itself. Okay, SDL chaste checkerboard.h. Okay, this file shows my personal method of drawing a checkerboard in SDL2 using a renderer. Okay. Okay, I'm going to delete that part of this comment. So the structure of the checkerboard and the chessboard main check, that's not really the important thing here. So here's what we have. So the structure of, wait a minute. Okay. So notice here that radius and radians are not included as part of a checkerboard. Why are they even here? Apparently, I made this structure based on a polygon structure. Okay. Okay. So, and another thing is, these are going to be integers. Okay, so, okay, it's just going to be a plain old int. Okay, that shouldn't cause any problems. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to initialize the checkerboard, and we're going to initialize the main check x value because there's a main check. There's a struct checkerboard declared. It's a global main check, and the init checkerboard set up initial state to allow drawing checkerboard to whole screen. That's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do here is we want to be able to draw a checkerboard to the screen. That's what we want to do. So first of all, notice that it already sets a color. Okay, currently the program, it does that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to call the init checkerboard function right there. But we still have some errors to work out. So first of all, here's what we actually have to do. We want to be able to choose the two colors as part of the checkerboard. Well, how do we go about this? So what we're going to do is I don't want to have the color data be part of the function because I don't want it to switch colors. I don't want it to do that. I actually have an idea. So first of all, what we're going to do is first we know that it draws a green. We know it draws a green background first. We're gonna let it do that, but then it draws to the whole screen by passing null as the rectangle. Then what we're gonna do is we're going to set the render draw color. We're gonna set this to, okay, let's make it red. We're gonna totally just make the color red. Okay. So, I'm still getting errors because I need to make some changes here. So what we have here is this function. It has a genius method. This function draws a checkerboard that draws every square of the checkerboard, but it doesn't switch between black and white. Okay, I need to correct this. Okay. 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 It is highly optimized because it does not switch colors during the function. It only draws half of the checkerboard squares and leaves the remaining areas the same as the background. Actually, I don't need to have these bizarre spaces. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do here is instead of GL chased rectangle, here's what we actually have to do. So now we need an SDL rect. We're going to be using we're going to be using a checkerboard here. So now here's the thing. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out the right way to do this because this function itself, it only tries to do things based off of, well, it's going to use the global variables, but we need a rectangle. Okay, and I'll explain this as I go. So let me go back to my Chaste Chess code because we're going to be using an SDL rect named rect. This is going to be a global variable, and it's essential. Yeah, so it's essential. An SDL rect is an essential thing to have, and you're going to find out why. So SDL rect, just named rect. All right. So now that we've copied that, we probably don't need that file open anymore. But we're going to need to use this. So now rect, actually, I do need to still show you an example. So how does it work when we control a rect? So notice here's an example from my Tetris game. It sets the rect.x to a certain thing and the y and the width and the height. So what we're going to be doing here, we're going to be using those same values. So we know we know where we want to draw it because the x and y location, we're totally going to be yeah. So y equals main check. Okay, and then it's going to we're going to be the rect side. Okay, so we're going to be doing some things here. So it sets x and y equal to these certain things. And what we're going to be doing here is only if index equals 1, we're going to be doing something here. I'm going to be doing a very genius function. So only in this specific case, we're going to set rect.x equals x, of course. Okay. Then actually, we're going to have the 4 attributes. Rect.y equals, rect.y equals, okay, it's going to be equal y. And then rect.x width and height are both going to equal main check.rect size. So we're going to copy the global attribute of the main check structure. We're going to set each of those to that. So that's good. And then now that we have set, we have totally set the rectangle up. Then notice SDL render fill rect. We have the render and we fill it with the address of the rect. We're passing it a pointer to the rectangle. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to replace GL chaste rectangle with this. It uses the rectangle to draw that color of the rectangle. Let's see if it works. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, GL chaste rectangle at 109. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. Yeah, this one was, if it does that, it sets the color. Okay, we're going to remove that function because that one is not needed. We only need one checkerboard drawing function. So let's see here. Okay, you see, right now it only prints the green. It draws the green. However, that's because we haven't actually called the chaste. Okay, so we're going to remove the GL part because we're not using OpenGL. We're going to call this just chaste checker. Why not? Now, do I want to call it chaste checkerboard or just chaste checker? Because I could rename the file. Let's just keep it the way it is for now. So after it draws the, okay, after it sets the render color, we're going to actually draw, we're going to call the chaste checker function. Let's see if it works. Ooh, I forgot to include a semicolon before init checkerboard. Okay, that is an error, a common error. In fact, you can even include 2 semicolons and it works. Wait, ooh, something ain't right. Okay, so something is not right. Oh, I know why. Because the checkerboard was not initialized until after. Okay, so we're going to initialize the checkerboard first. You see that? We have red and green checkerboard. We actually have a perfect red and green checkerboard. There's just one little problem. We have a lot of checker. Okay, so first of all, it looks beautiful. It looks absolutely beautiful here. But notice that it sets the rect size equal to 32. And that's nice because we have a nice beautiful red and green checkerboard here. But what if we don't want to do that? Okay. What if we want to go with something else entirely? Well, I can change that. So, because this is global, so main check rect size equals 32. But we can change that. So, we're going to still call the init checkerboard function. Or we don't technically need to, but we can. And then let's see here. Main check.rect size equals, let's call this, because either the width or height would work. So let's do height divided by 8. That's what we're going to do. Ooh, we have an 8 by 8 checkerboard. You see that? We have an 8 by 8 checkerboard. And that's actually extremely cool. So we have a red and green checkerboard, and also we can completely customize this in any way. So what if we want there to be 5? Let's have there be 5 by 5 squares. Now we have 5 by 5 squares. So you see, I have complete control. What if we want there to be 16 by 16? Okay, that's nice. But we're actually going for an 8 by 8 checkerboard. So we're going to set this back to 8 and leave it that way. And also, there are some other interesting things you can do. We can draw to only a portion of the checkerboard. We could, for example, let's say that we set main check dot x. Okay, let's set this to be equal width divided by 2. Then it stops as soon as we reach that half of the screen. Or if we did that and did height divided by 2, it works. It absolutely works. Or what if we set this to equal 100, the beginning? So you see, this lets us draw a partial checkerboard or a complete checkerboard. But if you just leave it the way I had it at the start, then it will work because it will draw an entire checkerboard. And also, just for fun, what happens if you set a very small value here? So let's see here. Let's set it to 1. Okay, that looks really, really weird. That looks extremely weird. Okay. And if we set it to 4, it will also look extremely weird, I'm sure. Yeah, oh wow. It looks yellowish. Okay, that's cool. But anyway, we're going to set this back, height divided by 8. So now, let's look at something. Let's say if we didn't fill it with a background color to start with. Let's just say that we comment out this part that actually draws the green part. Now we have red and black because it leaves the default as black. However, it's still good to always, it's still good to always specify your exact things that you want to do. Now, what if we wanted to customize the checkerboard even more? Okay, so let's try some shades of gray. So let's try something, let's see here. I'm thinking of, okay, I'm going to try something. I'm going to use some hexadecimal values. So we're going to go with 55. Yeah, we're going to do OX55 for all of these. I'm having fun playing with the colors. And now we have a shade of gray. We totally have a nice little shade of gray there. And then we could also, let's try something else for this one. Let's try changing the color here. And we're going to make this AA. Okay, yeah, that's really good. Okay, that's actually really cool. I like this. And the reason I like this is that we have two shades of gray. They're not exactly the same shades of gray as we're used in the image, but they're still very, very cool. Yeah, we're totally, yeah. This is actually really, really cool. But let's just, for curiosity, let me go back and let's look at, in my chess image, let's see here. The let's look at the GIF edge. So let's just take a look at this this file here, because we have the image here, and it has anti-aliasing, so it's going to be a little bit hard to read. But let's get an idea. Okay, I want to use the info window. Okay, so look at this. Now this uses two specific colors. Yeah, so it uses D8, D9, D8, and A8, A9, A8. So it uses some very bizarre color values, but it uses, you know, some weird stuff. So it's using some two lighter shades of gray. And also, it's possible to do a medium gray. Okay, so for example, let's say I wanted to do a medium shade of gray. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the code. Let's try something. Let's say that I decided to do one thing, but that I wanted to change it. Let's change it. It's easier to deal with these in hexadecimal for me because that's what I'm used to. We're going to do 808080. Okay, let's see here. And we're going to, now we have a light gray and well, sort of a dark gray and a medium gray. It's kind of funny how that works. So now, see, I can customize the shade of gray completely, however I want it to be. But I think I'm going to change it back to the way that I had it. I'm going to comment that out because I may use that later. We're going to stay away from the extreme of black and white for now, because what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm actually going to be using black and white images later on as I develop the program more. I'm going to be using some different colors. I'm going to be using black and white, and what we absolutely need is we absolutely just need two different shades of gray, but that are not black and white. Because what if I want to use black and white for drawing text as the chess pieces or images that are black and white? So we need two differing shades of gray, but not actual black and white, because I'm trying to develop a certain look and feel. So that's kind of what I'm going for now. But as you see, in this first part, what I'm doing is I already have a very valid program. So I have a main.c file. It starts up a program, and it loads up a checkerboard. It has a checkerboard structure, and then it just draws to a render. It sets everything up. Oh, but there is an optimization. Notice that it keeps resetting the main check.rect size every single time. That's actually a big waste. That's a real big waste, because we don't need to set it during every iteration of the loop. We only need to set it at the beginning. So here's what we're going to do. So before it begins that loop, and of course it sets index equal to 0, we're going to set the rectangle at the beginning before the loop. But because the size of the checkerboard stays the same. See, it still works just fine. Now, what about this? Let's change index 0 to index 1 and see what happens. Interesting. Yeah, it does look different. It's hard to see. What if we change it to some value like 50? Well, then it just is a one gray thing. So you see, because it goes back and forth between 0 and 1. So it's kind of weird, but we're going to go with 0. Okay, yeah, that's nice. So here we have a chaste checker function. This is a perfect function for drawing a checkerboard in SDL exactly as the way that I do it personally. All right. So we have a program. So we have a program. Let me close my image viewer there. So we have a program that we type make, it compiles, it runs it. We have a Chaste Chess as our title. We have a two different shades of gray checkerboard, and it works. We have an actual working program. We don't have any chess pieces yet, but we have a program that actually works. So what I'm going to do is one of the things that I do is I like to back up my files frequently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the stream because I have been going for an hour. And then I'm going to back up some files of this state exactly as it is. And then I will, in my next episode that I'm going to stream on Twitch, it will instead be expanding the program a little bit more. So this is just the episode 0, getting a basic program that compiles and runs and draws a checkerboard. So this is episode 1, and there will be more episodes of this. And I'm going to put this all on my Patreon as well.